Hey guys, Evacso here. Today I've got some new legendary difficulty realistic sliders. I've got two slider sets for today. Now I've got one slider set for the longer halves, so 8-minute halves all the way to 10-minute halves. And the shorter game sliders will be after I've shown you my longer half sliders, which will be 4 minutes all the way to 7-minute halves. So let's get started with the longer half sliders. So I usually use them on 10-minute halves. Obviously the difficulty level is on legendary, competitor mode on off, and player-based difficulty on off. Now these sliders are from Title Update 6. I was expecting a Title Update 7 to be coming around even like last week or 2 weeks ago. Like they were bringing out title updates every 2 to 3 weeks, and now they haven't brought one out for over 4 weeks. My camera settings, I've got broadcast camera. Make sure you custom the camera settings. Height at 0, zoom on 0, and fast mode focus on 5. It's just the realistic sort of camera. Before I go into my sliders, please like and subscribe if you haven't. I'm getting very close to 4.5k subscribers, and I want to hit 5k subscribers sometime soon this year. I also got my socials in the description. Please give me a follow. Now into the CPU sliders. So there's a few differences that I've got from my previous version. So pretty much everything's been changed besides the tackle aggression and skill move frequency. So tackle aggression on 35, build up speed, I've increased this by a lot. I'm pretty sure I had this on 10 before, which was, I mean, they pass the ball back way too many times, especially when they get past the defense, like past your players, and then they just pass the ball back. I thought it was okay before, but definitely can't have it on 10. So build up speed on 35, shot frequency, I've increased this by a little bit, up to 50, first touch pass frequency, so the same thing. I had this on 45, put this back up to 50. Crossing frequency, yeah, they didn't cross it on 50. They do cross it a little bit on 65. Dribble frequency on 30 and skill move frequency on 50. Now into the simulation settings. So a few little different things. So I've got sprint speed and for both user and CPU on 45. Now I've got one less for the user team on acceleration. Now there's a few advantages for the user side because legendary difficulty is quite difficult, but this is the only advantage for the CPU team. So 49 acceleration for user, 50 for CPU. Shot error is on 60 for user, 62 for CPU. Now pass error, this has gone down a fair bit because in a previous title update they nerfed passing, which wasn't really needed, but they have previously made it slightly better, I think. So we've got 53 for user, still CPUs. Their passing is very good on legendary difficulty. That is not the case in world class difficulty. It's like their passing has just been increased so much in the legendary and ultimate difficulty. Shot speed on 50 for both user and CPU, so I've increased this a fair bit from the last version. Pass speed on 47 for both user and CPU. Injury frequency, I had to lower this down from 60 to 50. They're just far too many injuries, just the little injuries. It's just annoying because it's nearly every game, even on 50. I don't usually put this down below 50, but I've only kept this on 50 because obviously your little injuries, which do happen. Make sure you put the severity down though, onto 30 for both user and CPU. Goalkeeper ability on 45 for both user and CPU. Goalkeepers are just too good. Their diving is ridiculous, but then sometimes some of the close saves they're not good at. Which I'm just, at the moment, 45 is the most balanced, but they do need to be changing a few things in the next title update with goalkeepers. We've got marking on 72 for user. So I've increased this by a little bit, and for the CPU one, I've actually increased this by a fair bit as well. Now run frequency, this is the biggest difference from my last version. I had this on 40 or 50. See, I never actually ever put run frequency above 50 in my last 4 to 5 FIFAs. Run frequency is just really weird. Tactics do help run frequency, but I still think centre mids don't run enough, and especially wingers. Wingers do not make enough runs, and that is their job basically. And even on 70, I don't feel like the wingers are running up enough, but the striker does. So having this on 70 is like the most balanced. So then not all your players are going up. So 70 for both user and CPU. Line height on 68 for both user and CPU. Just drop that back from 70, just so then the defense doesn't get caught out as much. Line length on 40 for both user and CPU. Line width on 47 both user and CPU. So I've lowered this down from I think 49 down to 47. Fullback position on 75 for both user and CPU, had to increase this. The difference between a fullback and a wingback is there's such a big difference. Like, wingbacks actually make runs, fullbacks just don't make runs. It's stupid. Like, a fullback is supposed to make runs, especially in the modern game, and they're not making runs until they go up to about 75. But 75 for a wingback means they go up and down the line all the time. We've also got the power bar on 52. You can have this on 50, you can have this on 55. It's really whatever your preference is. But I needed to increase this from 50 because legendary difficulty is quite difficult. Got the first touch control error on 60 for both user and CPU. So that's it for the longer halves. Let's get in the short game sliders. So for the short game sliders, I've got these from 4 minutes all the way to 7 minute halves, like I previously said. But I've also tested these mostly on 5 minute halves, which I really enjoyed it on 5 minute halves. A lot of entertainment, a lot of end-to-end football, but also a lot of good passing. Same thing, competitive mode on off and play-based difficulty on off. Same camera settings. Let's get in the CPU sliders. Now there's not too many differences. Tackle aggression the same, but you make sure you got to put up the build-up speed from 35 to 45. Same shot frequency, same first touch pass frequency, same crossing frequency. I think the same dribble frequency at 30 and the same skill move frequency. Now into the simulation settings, so there's a few differences here. So I've actually lowered the sprint speed from 45 down to 40. Basically, the more you slow down the game, the easier it is for the user team. Because when I had it on 45 sprint speed, the CPU's just pressed a lot. You just couldn't really get out of your own half. And you're passing it and just constantly passing it in triangles, getting nowhere. So when I put this down to 40, it was like a proper game from there. But in the short game sliders, I've given the CPU having no advantages. Just couldn't allow that in a short game because there just wasn't enough time to basically sort of counter those advantages. So I've given that user team an extra acceleration. So both on 50 for both user and CPU. Now here we go, we got the 58 for user, 60 for CPU for shot error, pass error, still big difference in this one. So 53 for user, 58 for CPU. Shot speed I kept the same for both 50 on both user and CPU. We've got pass speed on 48 for user and 47 for CPU. We've got injury frequency, so yeah, just keep the same 50. I'm not going to be changing that really at all now. So 50 for both user and CPU. 30 for severity for both user and CPU. Goal capability, just kept that the same as well on 45 for both user and CPU. Marking on 70 for user, and then a lot less marking for CPU down to 62. Now I'm pretty sure in the last version I had 68 marking for user and 58 for CPU, there was a 10 difference. I found that putting marking up to 60 actually made it a little bit easier. Because the CPU weren't marking enough, they just had like a 3 midfield, and they just sort of sat in the middle of your midfielders, and you just couldn't get any passes through them. They weren't marked, but they would stop all those passing lanes. So then I increased this down up to 62, and then the players were actually marking it, and then you can actually just wait until your player comes in front of them. I had to increase the run frequency, so 75 for user, kept it on 70 for CPU. Just needed an advantage there for the user team. It's difficult to score some goals in this, but creating chances is alright. Line height on 70 for user and CPU. We've got line length on 42 for user. And here's another advantage with a 44 for CPU. Now, if you're still struggling to score some goals, you can put this up to 45. This is one of the good advantages of doing that. And also, if you're still struggling with it, you can put the CPU marking down to 61 or 60, whatever your preference. Let's get into the line width. So again, another advantage. I've got so many advantages in the short game sliders. 47 for user, 48 for CPU. Fullback positioning. So again, I've increased the fullback positioning for the fullbacks, not really the wing backs. But 80 for user and CPU. Got the power bar, again, having this on 52. And then first touch control errors on 55 for both user and CPU. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoy these sliders. I will be updating these sliders later on in the year. I'm going to be doing ultimate difficulty sliders and professional difficulty sliders very soon, and then I'll go into like play career mode sliders. Anyways, thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe if you haven't, and I'll catch you guys later.